So we have our opening ceremony for today, and every month we have an event that we plan. It's very busy, and I have to coordinate and look for speakers and presenters. We source from the campus community. We look for people in the culture that we're trying to represent, and see if they have figures or notable figures that they want us to highlight, or things in history that has happened they need us to highlight, and we kind of go from there.
So this event is important to me because it's one of the heritage months that we celebrate here in the Center for Inclusive Excellence, among many others. But this one is important as to our population is increasing in diversity here at Framingham State University, and we want the students to have a sense of belonging and to feel like they're included, which is why we have a number of our student organization clubs participating in the events today.
It should be mandatory for colleges to have months like Black History Month where we can accurately recognize the achievements of Black people in and out of like the community, like in the world, like a global scale. I think it's very heartwarming that I can see people who look like me, who have the same shade of skin here, because it's like, I'm not alone in the struggle that being the first Black class president. So I have people who are rooting for me, who are supporting me, and it kind of builds community.
One of the things that we talk about with Black History Month is really being intentional about what we're thinking about, what we're learning, but also too this idea of owning your own story. We constantly, particularly any underrepresented group, is always having somebody else tell their story. And I was telling them that I thought I knew a lot about Josephine Baker, and then I follow the U.S. Holocaust Museum on Twitter, and they retweeted a thread of tweets about Josephine Baker and her work in the French Resistance against the Nazis. The way she's portrayed, it's always just about her dancing with her bananas. And so I use that as an example to talk about the kinds of stories that we tell, even about ourselves, and what kinds of stories we should be telling about ourselves, and what kind of information we should be, pressing more for. There's always a backlash. When people say, "Oh, it's Black History Month," they're like, "Well, why don't we have this?" And it's to really think about who is represented, who tells the history. It's usually the people in charge, and that's not all of history. So just don't believe everything that people tell you. Go out yourself and find out more information. I bet you ask one question to one great aunt, and you'll find a myriad of stories that you never thought were possible.